friends, and welcome to episode 2 of Review Week. Today we're going to be reviewing another manga series, and it is a complete series put out by Shojo Beat, and this one I did actually complete as opposed to the last one, and that is Behind the Scenes Volumes 1 through 7. This is by Bisco Hattori, which is the same mangaka who does Ouran High School Host Club and Millennium Snow. So let's talk a little bit about Behind the Scenes. In Behind the Scenes, we are primarily following Ranmaru. Ranmaru is a first year in college, so essentially a college freshman. And he's just kind of sitting in the courtyard, kind of mooning over his life and the fact that he's feeling a little bit lonely, when all of a sudden this bride comes running across the courtyard and is being chased, I believe, by zombies? Yes, by zombies. And so what happens is Ranmaru is then sucked into what they call the art squad. So the art squad is essentially the tech crew of the college. So they work with the film crews and the theater team to help build sets, build props, help them arrange anything that they need, essentially. So it's a lot of work, and it only has a few people on the actual crew. So this is definitely something for my theater-loving heart and my days working with the tech crew, and I really loved that. The covers are very steampunky, but within, it's not that steampunky, I'm gonna be honest. You have moments where it looks a little bit that way, but in general, it's really not. But this is definitely a manga series that will inspire you to be creative and express your creative self. Ranmaru finds his people with the art squad, because essentially growing up, he would help people with crafty kind of things, and because of that, he ended up making enemies in school because he was so good at what he was doing. And so within this, we're following the whole crew, specifically from Ranmaru's perspective, and so there are all sorts of things that you deal with at a college age, like crushes, and learning who you are, and all those kinds of things. They're all wrapped up nicely by Bisco Hattori. Now, I do have some criticisms of this particular manga. Within this manga, I feel like Bisco Hattori was trying too hard to step outside and be not Ouran in this depiction. Though there are characters that blend some of her Ouran characters together, she took some of the best parts of Ouran and put them into these characters. And I'm not going to fault her for that, because I enjoyed the characters because of those great qualities. The thing that I criticize, really, is one, I think it was a little too short. There are some things within the story that are a little bit choppy that I really think if this had gone a volume or two longer, they could have been fleshed out a little bit, and it would have been a much smoother situation. Also, in this, there is a relationship that I don't approve of. I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's pretty spoilery and pretty late in the series that this becomes a very prominent thing. But yeah, so that's kind of something that really kind of turned me off to the series, if I'm honest. This is the squad leader. They call him Chief, and he has his own kind of backstory. We get all the people's backstories. So there's a girl who's obsessed with all things gore, and she loves zombies and all those kinds of things. There's a guy who's like a former bully mob boss son, who really is just a precious cinnamon roll who wants to be a superhero. And then we've got, you know, the standard demure Japanese woman who comes from money, who's a seamstress on the squad. And then we've got our leader, and then we have another guy who's kind of the heartthrob, you know, everybody loves him kind of thing, but he's kind of oblivious to all of it. And there are reasons for that. And then we've got Ranmaru, and then we have Ranmaru's cousin So, who plays a pretty prominent part in the series. So that's kind of your cast of characters there that you're dealing with. And of course, there's lots of side characters. You have all the directors that you deal with. And some of them, I think, were better characters than some of our main cast. There was just some things within the series that didn't quite jive very well with me. And that breaks my heart because I do love Bisco Hattori very, very much. And I love her work. I love her art. Her art is some of my favorite. I mean, look at this. It's just so fun. And she did a lot of research, so all her crafting moments are very well researched and well thought out. And there's a moment in one of the chapters involving an otaku and borrowing his collection for a set. And the way they do everything, it's over the top and very Oron feeling at times. But at other times it tries to be too serious and too not Oron. So I think for me, if Bisako Hatori had stayed in her lane and kept this with a little more comedy mixed in with it, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more. But all in all, I do think it's a good, solid series. If you like theater or movies and want to be behind the scenes with this crew, I do recommend picking this one up. I think it was a lot of fun. Again, I had some criticisms on things it could have done better, but all in all, I did enjoy this. I binged it all in one day. I binged it during the Fall into Manga Love readathon, and I ended up really enjoying this. So I definitely recommend checking this out. At the very least, I would give it a 3-volume try. Read the first 3. If you don't like it after 3, don't continue on with the rest of it, because, you know, at that point you're almost halfway. You might as well finish, in my opinion. But then again, I'm the one who DNF'd an omnibus, so I have no room to talk. I've said but like 500 times. Do want to point out that this series does have fantastic rep for anxiety. Ranmaru, as well as his cousin So, both experience anxiety in slightly different forms. And so the representation for the anxiety that they feel is really powerful and really relevant. And so I do recommend the series for the anxiety rep alone. I think that's not something I come across a lot in manga, where it's not done in like a comedy format. The anxiety parts are pretty serious in this series, so I do recommend it for that. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Go ahead and check out Behind the Scenes by Bisako Hatori, and I will see you guys in the next episode of this series. Bye.